What's up guys, Doomsday here. Today we're back again, and in this video we're going to be playing some Wukong in the jungle. So we're playing some more Wukong, and overall Wukong is still one of my favorite champs, and if you've been following my channel the past couple months you could definitely see that. You'll definitely be catching a lot of Wukong gameplay on my channel, but one of my favorite things about Wukong is actually he's a really good blind pick. So what does that mean? It means like if you're first or second in the draft and you have to pretty much first pick your jungler into nobody, Wukong doesn't really have any good hard counters. So there's certain champs that really are hard to counter. Like you can't really get a good counter into them. So some of those being like Wukong, Xin Zhao, those don't really have amazing counters. And it's more so just team play. So one of my favorite things about picking him is like you can't really get counter that easily. Whereas if you pick something like Evelynn first, it's pretty easy to just pick like Xin Zhao into that and have a pretty decent matchup in your favor. But you can't really do that with Wukong. So that's one of my favorite things. And also Wukong provides a lot of tankiness for your team. I think that's really crucial as a jungler because a lot of times the jungle role will have to be the one to fill in that tankiness. Because a lot of times if the support decides to go for an enchanter support or something, and then the solo lane decides to go for somebody squishy, then you're like the only frontline. And frontline is super important in team fights because without good frontlines, you really just can't team fight that well. And another thing about Wukong is he has the good crowd control with his ultimate, of course, adding to that team fight ability. So now you have tankiness plus team fight, and that is overall a pretty solid champ. So now I see the Echo going towards the top side, and I'm trying to ping him to be careful and actually make a decision to head towards that top scuttle because I see he hasn't started it yet. And I think this is a pretty decent contest just because looking at our duo lane up, having a Galio in the duo lane is huge because Galio is such good at scuttle fighting with his crowd control and burst. So Kali makes a good play over here. I'm trying to ping the Akali to try and follow me if they can, but it doesn't look like they are. So now I'm trying to go onto this Echo, seeing if I can knock him down a bit. He burst down that scuttle super fast with this perk. And now I'm trying to see if maybe I could pick somebody up here. And maybe I can get this drawn. I'm waiting for my abilities to get off cooldown before I flash. And then I'm able to get some good heal from my first ability and back out of there. So that was really crucial of me to wait for my abilities to get off cooldown before I flash in. And that's something I'd really recommend a lot of people doing is actually looking at like the cooldowns of their abilities and how many seconds are left. Because if you engage without your abilities on Wukong early on, you're just going to get kited back super easily. But that was a good pickup there. And now I know that the Echo is farming up their blue side jungle now because if you think about their rotation, they cleared only their red side jungle and then they went to that scuttle over there. So the only other place that they could be now is farming up their blue side jungle because that's the only thing that's up still. So now I'm doing the exact same thing, farming up my blue side jungle. And a reason why going for a good scuttle fight with the Galio in the lane is super important is because when you have like two squishy champs such as them like in the duo lane with Janna and I think they have a Lucian. Yeah, Janna and Lucian. Those champs really require the protection of the turret to go up against tanky front lines. So for instance, Galio, Alistar, without the and let's take a look at this gang. So I just reached level 5. That's something that I do want to talk about in a second. But notice how as soon as I reach level 5, I'm in this top lane over here. And I want to talk about why I made this decision over here. Unfortunately, the match goes by really fast, so it's hard to talk about everything at the same pace that the match is going at. And that's sometimes why I like to do like the replay because I can pause it for a sec. We're able to get a good gank there, but without the protection of the turret, if you drag out the enemy duo lane fights into the river, without a turret to help protect him, like Galio is free to engage. Varus can get some good poke off, and it's really hard for the Janna and Lucian to kite back to the protection of a turret, which they need against front lines like Alistar or Galio. But notice something there. I ended up at that top lane as soon as I reached level 5. So you really have to keep track of your leveling and what camps will get you to where. Because I knew just taking my wolves and my blue buff will get me to level 5 and then I could gank that solo lane. And the reason why that's so important is because in that first scuttle fight, I know that the enemy duo lane, they burned every single summoner they had. I knew none of them had flash up. None of them had their shield, barrier, or whatever up. Everything was down. So that's why I chose to regank that lane as soon as I reached level 5. And that's really crucial that you need to think about with a lot of champs. So like a lot of champs like Evelynn, sometimes I'll just go for a full clear to reach level 5 and then make it so my pathing reaches the duo lane as soon as I get level 5. So now maybe I'm able to pick up this Fiora. That's pretty good. Thankfully the Mundo survives there. And now I want to push out this lane over here, try and push out this turret. So I actually know that Echo is on the red side right now because he has the exact same rotation as me. And you can actually see him going for that gank over there. And I was actually in voice chat with the Varus, so I was able to warn him. Actually, like I didn't ping it on the map, but I told him that the Echo was on the top side. So the reason why I know that is because he has the exact same rotation as me almost. So, because when my red buff respawns, when my red side jungle respawns, his red side jungle respawns. So I know he's going to be clearing at about the same time as me. So I knew he was on the top side over there. But now I have my ultimate off cooldown, and we're heading back towards this team fight over here. And looking at this front line, this is a fight that we want to take. With the Galio ultimate plus my ultimate plus a Mundo front line, it's going to be really hard for them to cut through all of us. Especially because they probably don't have anti-heal or armor penetration right now. So right now I'm looking for an engage onto him. That's the Morgana flash. That's really key. Because without flash, Morgana has absolutely no mobility at all. So now we can force out this dragon. I didn't burn ult. That's good that I didn't waste my ult there. Because now I still have it in case we need to look for something over here. So I'm able to smite this down. That was smart from the Echo, just trading the Herald. Because there's no way that they're winning this team fight against our giant front line. But now I'm trying to get onto this Morgana. I know they have no flash. So able to track them down, and that's why it's pretty important to keep track of flash cooldowns. Like because I knew for a fact there that Morgana had no flash, so I knew for sure we can get that kill. But I know they're gonna go back to defend this turret, and I just go for a little cheese play in this bush over here. Able to pick up their ADC again. He's not even able to make it to the lane, and now just farming up this jungle over here, and then gonna back out after we get this top turret. So that's a good start to the game, and overall, I just really wanted to show the start to this game because I think it's really key to see how to plan out your rotations, especially for level 5 on Wukong, because once you reach level 5, that's a huge ganking potential and huge power spike that you really need to abuse. Because if you farm up your jungle and you have to run halfway across the map for an engage with your ultimate, you're just wasting so much time, and that's probably the key thing about jungle is learning how to maximize, like, your efficiency, how to not waste time. And that's something you'll see top tier junglers be super good at, as their rotations will be perfect. Like they will be farming up a camp and then go for a gank as soon as they're done with it and know like what gank they want to go for, where they want to go next. And planning ahead of time is really key too. So at that beginning, I knew that I had wanted to go for that gank in the duo lane again. I knew I wanted to go for that level 5 gank there. So I literally planned it out to where I'd take 2 camps and then gank that duo lane. So literally just thinking ahead is really, really important. So now I'm trying to get a third ability onto this Echo. You can see me struggling to get over that wall, but able to pick him up. And you can see the strength of Trinity Force. And that's why I like Trinity Force on Wukong, is it provides a lot of burst damage with your first ability, especially if you get ahead. So now I'm backing up over here. I'm one shot. I can't really stay any longer. Black Cleaver is a good first item too if you are looking for a more supportive tanky role. It just depends on what your team's looking for. Now, I'm trying not to die to this blue buff over here. I have smite up in 2 seconds, so I'm trying to run until I get off cooldown. I smite it. The Varus takes the blue buff, but that's okay. As long as we deny from the enemy jungler, that is all set. But I'm sorry if this isn't like the best gameplay. I was really busy this week with work and everything, and I wasn't able to play that much. I wasn't able to get in much gameplay, but hopefully I could stockpile some more this weekend. That is the goal, because usually I just grind it out towards the weekend and then upload throughout the week, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. But in the future, I'd definitely be expecting more Wukong videos and more Evelyn gameplay. That's a champ that I find really fun. I actually did not play Evelyn at all until last patch, and then I tried him out, and I was like, oh my gosh, she is so much fun to play, actually. So I've been grinding out Evelyn, and Evelyn is super strong right now too. Like I think I have like about like a 65 to 70% win rate on Evelyn, which is really good in like the master grandmaster tier. And that just goes to show how broken Evelyn is right now, especially if you're smart with her. You can really abuse her. But now I'm seeing if I could get a good pick onto anybody. So I was actually going to try and step into the jungle to see if I could catch him rotating, because I saw him rotating throughout the lanes. So this is a really good place for Wukong to try and catch out people, especially when you're ahead. You can catch out people when they're rotating in general, but now we're all grouped up over here. We have to be a bit careful over here. Trying to see if maybe I can get an engage, but oh, I got hit by the Janna whirlwind. And that was actually a really, really good whirlwind from Janna. That completely screwed me over. Like that knock up, and then they just got so much burst onto me after that, and they're able to pick me up, sadly. But maybe this Galio can make plays. That's a good exhaust from whoever exhausted him. Exhaust is really, really huge right now. Like, at least we're getting the top turret with the Kali, so that's decent. And again, I'm sorry, I know that there's no audio in this. There's no gameplay audio, and I'm not sure why, but there definitely will be. But I still just wanted to get out some gameplay. I think it's better than nothing, although there isn't any audio. But be expecting more gameplays in the next week, I shall say. So now the Herald's up. They're probably going to snag that. I don't think there's anything I could do. I don't have ultimate up, so I can't make too many plays over here. I'm mostly just going to try and get some vision for my teammates to see if they can make something happen. Actually, they are not on it. Looks like they reset, but at this point, I'm just waiting till I get my ultimate off cooldown. You can see me pinging. I'm pinging like, wait, my ultimate's still on cooldown for 20 seconds. I want to wait to fight until I get that off cooldown. So I was telling the ADC who I'm duo with, and we're just waiting it out. So now I have an ultimate off cooldown. There's the root from Morgana, and now I can look for a good engage. And look at the power when you pair Wukong with other good teamfight champs, or with other good high crowd control champs, which are generally good teamfight champs. Champs that have good crowd control usually do really well in teamfights, I'd say. Overall, that's about how it works. Is if you have a good crowd control, you can teamfight generally. And you can see when you pair Wukong with other huge champs such as Galio, like, if you look at that engage, like, they were not able to move at all. And that Varus takes that. I think I gave it to him because I was duo with him. But now we're taking this Herald. I think Varus might have mana problems. I'm not sure, actually. I don't play much Varus. If somebody wants to enlighten me in the comments if Varus has mana problems, they probably do early, but I don't know if they have them in the late game. But now I should probably be resetting here. I don't have ultimate, so I can't make any big plays or anything. But that's another good tip I'd say is pairing Wukong with other good crowd control champs like Galio, or who else has crowd control nowadays? Even, pairing Wukong with Darius is really good because it helps Darius gets his auto attacks and his perk up, and it helps him land his abilities. So that's actually a really good combo. In general, though, just pairing him with like Alistair or Braum, you can have such a beefy frontline, which makes you like complete monster in teamfights. There's the redemption from them. And now this Fiora is on the run. I'm able to go with them. Kind of hanging back over here, seeing if I can get good engage onto him. I stole a flash. Oh, that Fiora actually caught me by surprise. I don't think I saw him in that bush. I saw him watching him this time, but I don't think I saw him in the moment thing. That's another mistake a lot of people have, is really tunnel visioning. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk right now. Tunnel visioning during fights. They just focus so much on what's happening to them that they fail to look at their surroundings. And that's probably one of the hardest things. If anything, I think that is the hardest thing in team fighting, is paying attention to everything, because there's so much going on. And that's really one thing that differentiates like lower tier team fighting versus higher tier team fighting, is like higher tiers generally do a better job of paying attention to everything, but it's something everybody can always improve on. So now I'm pinging again. I don't have my ultimate. We need to be a bit careful if we do want to force a fight, but we definitely can in a second. Sudakali goes for an ultimate. Oh, they did a good job avoiding that Morgana ultimate. It looked like they're going to go down there, but they were able to get out of that ultimate. So looks like somebody bought TP. The Mundo has TP. I guess that makes sense. He's actually running Demolish for rune, so I don't know if you've noticed, but when he's taking turrets, he's running the new Demolish rune. And now we're pushing down these turrets over here. I still have this Herald, and this is kind of awkward because I need to find a good place to place this Herald. Let's see. I think I go to sleep after this, so I don't accept this, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm actually duo with the ADC right now. We pushed up to Grandmaster last season, pushed up again this season, and then he'll probably go for Challenger. I probably won't. I just don't really have the time to. It's so much grind to get Challenger. Like, I respect anybody that can get to Challenger just because it's so much of a time commitment. And now I'm trying to get onto this John over here. They're probably going to ultimate. As you can see, they ultimate and exhaust me off, but that's an Echo ultimate. I'm looking for a good re-engage and able to get a good knock-up. And look at that Sterix Gauge barrier. That is why I love Sterix Gauge on Wukong. I think Sterix Gauge is an item. Oh my gosh, why can I not talk today? It's an item that's built really, really well for Wukong, because when you go in with your ultimate, you're gonna get bursted down. That's kind of just how it works with Wukong, because if you're diving into 5 people, of course, they're gonna attack you back, all 5 of those people, as soon as they can. So having that Sterix Gauge barrier to help negate all of that burst damage is huge. And I know a lot of people like Dead Stance, stuff like that on Wukong, and I think it can be decent, especially if there's a lot of like small skirmishes, because Sterix Gauge does have a decent cooldown. But in teamfights, Sterix Gauge is such a good item. Like, I highly recommend getting Sterix Gauge. So for the core items, usually I just go Trinity Force into Sterix Gauge and Guardian Angel. And then I'll get whatever defense items I need, or you can make pretty much any enchantment work on Wukong too. You can go Stone Plate, you can go Stasis if you need it, you can go Lock It if you need it. Just whatever provides your team good utility. Because once you get into later phases, it's really about supporting your ADC in your mid lane and helping them in team fights and peeling for him, making good engages, even if you don't deal the most amount of damage. And that's another thing that I like about Wukong, is even if you fall behind, you still provide value for your teammates because you provide that crowd control that can help your teammates carry you. Whereas if you're playing somebody like Echo, like how they're playing, if you fall behind, like, you can only do so much. So you provide pretty much nothing for your team. So now we're trying to chase down this Akali, or this Morgana over here. They can't really get away from this. We have a lot of mobility. And this is probably one of the reasons why I don't like Morganas, because I like champs that have a bit more mobility than that. Like, I understand Morgana has really good AoE like damage with their like whole range that they can do with like all that damage, but it's just not my type of champ really. So now we're pushing down. Maybe we can push to end here. Let's see. That Echo goes in. They're probably just going to ultimate out. Seeing if I can pick up a good kill or two here. Can re-engage onto this Janna over here. But they just flash out, and we should be able to end with this. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And that's going to be it for this video. I'll see y'all in the next one.